fairly subdued key, so the palettes were restricted in terms of colour. We could expand the colour, but it was in small amounts. Largely the paintings were subdued. Some broke out, and some suffered as a result of it, and didn't benefit really in the end, because it wasn't good, because it actually throws you in a particular way of painting. But I must admit it was necessary to a degree, because most of us, who were quite young, were really unacquainted with any form of abstraction whatsoever, and stage one painting had basically been still life painting with John Okeover. Russell Clark was there in 1965. He died in '66. I remember him around the school, but I didn't have him as a tutor. He was taking senior painting classes. Among students in that time, there was Bronwyn Davies, who became an art dealer, Galen Preston, who became a filmmaker, and there was Jonathan Marner. Tony Geddes, Cliff McPherson, Steve Ratcliffe. There was Shirley McGregor, Alison Mitchell. It wasn't a very big painting class. Jennifer told me. She became an art teacher later on. The social scene wasn't a strong issue with me, because I was desperately trying to improve my artwork. And I worked a lot. I worked hard, a lot, to try and maintain that, so it wasn't a big deal. I wasn't at the art school for the social scene. Some were, and that's all they were there for. And you never saw them much in the studio. They were out and about, they were late at night, they were coming in late. I wasn't part of that. New Zealand art was hardly talked about. It was a closed door. There were some exhibitions coming through of New Zealand art, but it wasn't the way it is now. The profile artists only started to emerge in the late 1960s, and really started to shoot off in the 1970s. I knew nothing about New Zealand art. Nothing was taught in the School of New Zealand Artists. Nothing was published, but there wasn't even a lecture at the School of New Zealand Artists. So I emerged from the art school knowing virtually nothing about them. And when I became an art teacher, I had to do my own research to bring myself up to the level for the syllabus, because I knew nothing. Everything was focused outside, and Gopas, of course, eschewed most New Zealand artists. He was getting us to look at all the expressionists, from early moderns, post-impressionists, early moderns, abstract painters, particularly Kandinsky, Paul Klee and artists like that. They were the people he was talking about. McCann, he would talk about McCann, because other New Zealand artists, he would criticise them as being nothing in terms of art. They were nothing. So you got this negativity from him about New Zealand art and artists. And that was his own personal view. But there wasn't a lot talked about New Zealand art. It was low down in the scheme of things, and it was strange for that period, because it was starting to emerge then. There were exhibitions, and I would go to the exhibitions. I'd been going to exhibitions since I was 11 or 12, attending group shows in the old Durham Street Art Gallery, and I remember seeing the first travelling show of New Zealand painters at the McDougall in 1959. When I was still very young,